Welcome to Life Change Solutions, Episode 1. I'm your host, Kendra Crompton, here with my guest, Yadira Ricardez. Our topic today is dealing with unwanted and wanted change. Life can be sweeter. So today I have Yadira here, and she and I met about 3 years ago. And when I met her, she had just come from a very difficult divorce and had moved from her country to here, gave up her job, her career, and had really nothing. And today, her life has changed completely. And I'd like her to share a little bit of those changes with you, how she went through that, and how she keeps smiling through it. The one thing when I met her, I couldn't believe how she could still smile after all she's been through. So welcome, Yadira. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you, Kendra. Hi,
You're welcome.
You?
Oh, so good to have you. I'm always so inspired whenever I see you, whenever you lift my spirits, just knowing everything that you've been through. So today, I'd like you to tell your story. Whatever you feel like you want to tell about the changes that have happened in your life. And there's been some pretty drastic, difficult changes. And then some wonderful, incredibly wonderful changes that I can't even believe in 3 years that could possibly happen. You are an inspiration. And I hope that our listeners today will be inspired and glean something from Yadira. So Yadira, tell us a little bit about those changes from Mexico to here, and then from here to where you are today.
It's a long story, but the main changes that I went through, first of all, I was, as you said, coming to this country after a horrible divorce. Previous to that, I went through difficulties. Like I struggled with a lot of issues since I was younger. I went through a really difficult time before that.
So tell us just a little bit about what were those things, if you care to share.
Okay, well, when I was 19 years old, I was raped, and that changed my life completely because I didn't feel like I was worth anything after that, and it took me a big changing in mindset and in heart to find out those things that were going to take me out of that situation. It took me many, many years to realize that life was going to be different, that I had other options, that I had other resources, and that part of it was finding you, Kendra, throughout the road. And many great people that I went through and I found in the road.
Well, thank you for that. But I do want to go back just a little bit. Not only were you raped, you were abducted and taken away from your family. Nobody knew where you were. And then you got out of that. And then you had that. I love that you said you found that, hope that things could be better. And then when you got here, your life started to turn. What gave you that hope in those early days? Where did you get that hope from? Because my book is all about hope, and where do people find that hope?
Yeah, well, when that was taking place, the first thing that I had in my mind was to pray to the Lord that He would take me out of that situation, that I was completely, I felt completely alone in that moment. And later in life, I found that Jesus Christ was with me, that I was never alone. And also I found that to get out of that situation, the mind kind of flies away. It goes to different places. So I try to avoid thinking about it. I was not there. But I think that when I came back from this situation, I started like walking a lot. I was afraid of walking outside in the streets too. I was afraid of men. I was afraid of many things. I was scared of life. I was like not wanting to go out of my house very often. I had to have somebody with me to walk me to school.
Wow.
Then,
Wow.
crazy things happen, like a drunken guy that would live close by. He would notice that I was so afraid to go out, and he told me, like, I can take care of you. And he would walk with me every day to school. And we created this amazing friendship that he would give me his books and to keep them because he was living in the streets, and I would take them with me into my house, and then he would take me to the school, and he would pick me up.
So I love a couple of things you just mentioned. One is your strong faith, your faith that there's a higher power, that someone was there to that was going to help you get through that.
Yeah.
And then making those connections and friendships to get that support. And support is so important to change and to getting moving on.
It wasn't that easy, Kendra, because the first things that I did was to push people away.
Yeah.
I pushed people away of my life. I was scared to let them know what had happened to me. I mean, it was difficult. And I was studying veterinarian medicine in Mexico. It was a very difficult career. I needed to concentrate a lot. And going through all these, obviously also having a very difficult life at home. My mother was not very supportive. When she found out what happened to me, it was like terrible, because instead of helping me, it was like rejecting me. And I ran out of my house. I started from zero. I was sleeping on the floor with just a sleeping bag and no clothes, nothing. I didn't even have a bowl to eat from or where to heat my food. I just left home trying to start from zero, like trying to feel that peace that I needed inside. And I think that living by myself was a great change because I was like separated from that difficult situation at home, and I started talking to myself.
Okay.
And then it was very difficult. I was sometimes in the shower just crying and trying to clean my body as much as I could. And, it was hard in the beginning. But then, as we talked before, I started really concentrating in my career. I wanted to finish it. I wanted to be the best one. I wanted to do some changes because during those years in school, I found out that there were people in small villages that were really poor and they needed help. So my main goal was to go to those villages and trying to help them to do some beekeeping. And there's where my dream started of working with small villagers and get them something to eat.
So let's tell our listeners just a little bit about what you do now. She started this love of bees back when she was helping people. And it just was kind of a hobby. She was getting her veterinarian degree. And that, I think that, it sounds like, was your motivation to help you get through some of this.
Exactly.
And then helping others was another way that helped you get through that. And then you got married, and what happened there?
Well, many years after, I didn't think that I was a good person because obviously with all this happening, I was not able to have children, and I knew it. But the people that I dated and everything, they didn't know it. And there were many damages done inside of me. And so I couldn't have children. I was...
Oh, that's so hard.
Yeah, that was taken away from me. So it was really hard to find first a couple. And I'm sorry if I get emotional, but
No, it's fine.
I thought that I was not a good person because I saw the couples that I had that were really good men, that were like loving, caring people. They wanted children. And I could see that in their eyes when they were around children. And that broke my heart. I had to let them go and allow them to have a family. So I thought I didn't deserve that. I didn't deserve to have a family. I mean, I wanted to have a family, but I didn't deserve to have a man that could have children and take that away from him. So when I chose my couple, there came the problem. I was putting myself